J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, and others in Donald Trump's inner circle are calling for open rebellion against federal courts who rule against them. And they've been ruled against 11 times already. They're particularly upset by Judge Paul Engelmeyer and his decision to block Elon Musk from rooting around in our most confidential and private financial and medical information provided to the Treasury Department and Social Security. And Elon Musk is calling for the impeachment of a federal judge because he doesn't like the ruling. I'm Michael Popok. You're on the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF. Let's get to it. J.D. Vance made some inappropriate comparisons, completely nonsensical, to what a federal judge could do to stop the commander-in-chief or a general in the field, or what a federal judge could do to stop an attorney general about whether they're going to prosecute or not prosecute somebody, completely ignoring the role of a federal judge, an Article III judge, to balance and check and balance abuses of power. That is the purpose, Vice President Vance, of an Article III judge. That's why they're there. That's why we have three co-equal branches of government to check one against the other. Federal courts for the last 250 years have been responsible for making sure that when an executive is out of control and is lurching from one constitutional crisis and abuse of power after another, that they are there to handle it. So when you have, in response to a series of losses, the Trump administration is a 2-11 in court, 11 different injunctions and temporary restraining orders issued against them for their various major policies. That's the role of a federal court. Now, that's gotten the MAGA upset. Stephen Miller, who founded America First Policy Institute and is a senior White House counsel for Donald Trump, said, "Oh, these are all out of control, anti-democratic positions of a judge." Elon Musk again calling for the impeachment. Chris Murphy, a senator, came out and said it best. He said, "We are under a red alert here for attacks in our democracy. When they go after the judges, that's the next level of fascism, when you attack the judges and the judicial system. We saw it with Donald Trump during his criminal justice process, and now we're seeing it again. They are trying to undermine the legitimacy of courts. They're openly questioning any type of attempt to check executive power and trying to, quote unquote, control the executive branch. That means that our judges have to dig in, have to hold the line, as we've heard so many times before during Jan 6th. This is important. They can't capitulate. They can't give in. First Amendment freedom of the press says the same thing on our side of this equation. But federal judges are going to be the last firewall to protect our democracy. And we're talking about the judges up and down New England, all through California, Oregon, and Washington, D.C., Maryland, and all that. They're going to be the courts that we're going to live in, with the appellate courts, and then the United States Supreme Court. What's next? Open rebellion against the United States Supreme Court, handpicked by Donald Trump and the Federalist Society when they don't like a ruling? I want to tell you about one of my favorite brands in the entire health and wellness world, Qualia. I've never felt better lately, in part because of the Qualia's products I'm using regularly. Qualia's science team is tackling some of the most challenging aspects of health and wellness that we all face. Human longevity to optimizing mental health. Qualia's health formulas meticulously blend many ingredients with complementary relationships into easy once-a-day formulas. This makes supporting some of our most nutritionally complex health needs very simple. Qualia conducts pilot studies and double-blind placebo-controlled clinical studies on many of their products, all while keeping each formula vegan, non-GMO, gluten-free, and backed by a 100-day refund guarantee. I encourage you to check out their rapidly expanding product line of supplements that support so many common health needs. One of my personal go-tos is Qualia's Senolytic, a clinically tested formula that helps the body naturally eliminate senescent cells so you can age better. These senescent cells cause the symptoms of aging such as aches and discomfort, slow workout recoveries, sluggish mental and physical energy associated with that, middle-age feeling. Take a look at Qualia's line of truly inspired health formulas. Go to qualialife.com/legalaf and use code legalaf at checkout for up to 15% off your purchase. That's QUALIA life.com/legalaf for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Qualia, for sponsoring this episode. Now, some people have always asked me, both in chat and direct messaging, what can we do if they ignore it? If they just say, no, well, we'll leave it to federal judges and their inherent authority, which it's just basically fines and criminal punishment, including putting people in jail for disobeying. I'm not yet convinced that different groups that are under the control of the judiciary are going to stop doing their job because of threats from Donald Trump. It could happen, but I don't see it. For instance, it is true that the U.S. Marshal Service operates under the Department of Justice, and could Donald Trump kind of defang the U.S. Marshal Service and law enforcement related to it to kind of take away from the Department of Justice, the Judiciary, their ability to enforce their laws through prison. Yes, the Bureau of Prisons is under the Department of Justice and the executive branch. That's the one check and balance that we have to be concerned about, so that it doesn't just become a paper order. Judges are going to order people to go to jail if they don't comply ultimately. Who's going to put them in those jails, and what jails are we talking about? The Federal Detention Center and things that are normally at the power and control of judges is under the control of the executive branch, as is the U.S. Marshals. There's some court staff and court clerks and court bailiffs that aren't. But, the muscular power and executing it is on the executive branch side. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen there. They could deputize local law enforcement to do their job. They could do that. There are ways for judges to work around a U.S. Marshal Service that somehow is ordered to stand down and not comply with what court orders there are. Again, this is that lurching from constitutional crisis to constitutional crisis that we had feared as soon as Donald Trump came in. And now he's going after the judges. And we saw it already when he did it in his criminal cases himself. But now you've got him and his proxies going after judges, calling for their impeachment because they don't like the rulings. So we'll need to, and the Senate, the Democrats in the Senate, the Democrats in the House, and organizations like this one, MeidasTouch, Legal AF, are going to have to keep a close eye on this. We got to just keep going to the well. We got to keep hitting the strike zone, going to these judges, getting these injunctions, and we'll see what happens next. You see the threats that we're up against. So it's important that we stay together, link arms, be shoulder to shoulder here, and move this thing forward. I'm continuing to follow it all right here on the MeidasTouch Network. Of course, we got a new channel, Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Come on over there. Really important that we continue to speak truth to each other about what's happening as we try to hold power accountable here on Legal AF and MeidasTouch Network. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.